Yeah, we had a bilateral and wherein we discussed the whole question of our commitment to free trade among our countries within the CARICOM. And there was Suriname raised some issues with us about their difficulty in getting their products into the Trinidad and Tobago market, while they remain wide open to our products in Suriname. And we have undertaken to ensure that the spirit of free trade between us is maintained. And we also discussed the possibility of cooperation and collaboration between the potential for hydrocarbon development in Suriname being observed and possibly participated in by the experience and technical ability of Trinidad and Tobago in these areas, and also for the potential for Suriname wood products to be processed in Trinidad and Tobago for the external market. These discussions have led to a commitment from Suriname to send a technical team to Trinidad within 2 weeks to further discuss these developments and to work towards creating a business plan in some of these areas, and also to receive a delegation from Trinidad and Tobago in Suriname to further trade and prosperity between both countries.
Could you say what would be some impediments? I know
non-tariff barriers. Suriname complains about non-tariff barriers in Trinidad and Tobago, and we'll have to examine that to ensure that we are not unnecessarily impeding trade between our countries.
Mr. Prime Minister, I know you brought the question of the CSME on the regional agenda. Are you satisfied with the talks so far?
Very. There is an enthusiasm now among the current heads and an acknowledgement that it is long past the time that this matter should be on the table and that we should move with alacrity towards getting it to where it's supposed to be, which is to advance free trade of capital, labor and business within our countries. In the absence of progress in this area, my concern has been and continues to be that there are negative developments which could damage very severely our potential as small trading nations and damage the potential for growth as held out by our countries operating as a larger unit. Very few of our countries can accept that our home market is big enough to generate the limit of our business ambition. But if we see the CARICOM region as the market of each other, then business can grow within the larger market. And we simply have to put accepted institutions in place to ensure that we can expand our business and trade freely among each other.
Prime Minister, the embassy you're setting up in Barbados, is that part of the hope to get that movement done?
That is all part of our engagement with the CARICOM and particularly the Eastern Caribbean to maximize our growth and development and this whole quest to ensure that we do the best that we can as a unified region.
Sir, the CARICOM committee has been critical of free movement within the region. You weren't listed, but they did mention the 12 Jamaicans that were returned to Jamaica. Are you in agreement with what's in the report, and how do you address that going forward?
Trinidad and Tobago is very clear in our commitment to our progress in that direction. We do have some element of free movement in the region, governed by law, and we are committed to observing that. I know it is easy to create issues over 12 persons not being allowed to move, but we do have thousands of persons moving without impediment, so we shouldn't overplay these difficulties. And insofar as the requirements for entry, those requirements ought to be observed, and if there are impediments to entry, those impediments ought to be removed so that people can move with dignity within the arrangements made by our governments, our countries, and our CARICOM treaty.
But that's a complaint. It has not been done with dignity, sir. That's a complaint from many of the Jamaicans.
Well, if there's not many of the Jamaicans, there are 1.9 million Jamaicans. If we do have complaints, we'll address those complaints. What is not going to be encouraged, the persons using those complaints as a basis for fracture in the region. If there are complaints, then the complaints will and must be addressed.
You met
But
with
Dr. Rowley, the
President of
report
Chile
pointed to
yesterday.
something stronger. It spoke about the violation of court decisions arising from Chanique Mary and the same Trinidad Tomlinson case, as well as the non-reporting by immigration officials of the reasons for the denial of entry.
Well, the heads of government spent a very long time yesterday clarifying the ambiguities which resulted in the reporting issues. And I think we've made some progress there. However, the glib reference to Shanique Mary is also discussed at length, where we have determined what exactly is meant by a refusal on the basis of security. And I think that our position is that the determination of security is a matter for the person or the state that's determining that. And we made some progress there, and the communicated later on.
The protocol will be adopted?
The protocol will be adopted in the understanding that there are certain reserves and preserves that will remain under any circumstance with the receiving country.
You met with the President of Chile yesterday. Could you say what it was in relation to?
We discussed the role that Chile can play in furthering bilateral relation and cooperation between the Caribbean and Chile, and particularly Trinidad and Tobago and Chile. We have some increased trade with Chile for Trinidad and Tobago's products, and we are very keen to open our markets in Chile. And we're also working on a partial stop agreement with Chile, and hopefully that will allow us to expand our trade in an area which has the potential to grow between Trinidad and Tobago and Chile.
Does your country accept its role as the so-called superpower within CARICOM where trade is concerned?
We don't accept any superpower role. What we accept is that at an earlier time, Trinidad and Tobago made the sacrifices that were required to be made by our business community to retool themselves and to look outside of Trinidad and Tobago for the market towards those investments. Those were painful decisions taken. There were a lot of cynics at the time when it was done. But having made the sacrifice, Trinidad and Tobago has put itself in a position to be able to manufacture and to trade. We would hold out that approach to the rest of our colleagues in CARICOM, and we would continue seeking markets for our manufacturers. And we will assist as far as possible in the recognition that the CARICOM markets are our markets, and we will assist and progress together in this area. We in Trinidad and Tobago do not claim any extraordinary advantage without the sacrifices that we require to do so.
What about claims that Trinidad is basically the only beneficiary of this CARICOM arrangement?
That sounds like Brexit.
So do you make no apology for the comparative and competitive advantage that TNT manufacturers and traders have built up over the years?
We do have some comparative advantage, but that does not mean that others cannot access those kinds of advantages themselves, because they do have some advantages that we don't have. But if we are talking about the Caribbean being a single market, and that we are moving towards this free trading, free movement of capital and so on, we cannot be distracted by these about who's getting more than who's getting. We simply have to work on regimes of fairness and working institutions, not the least of which is the Caribbean countries.
What would you say to those nationals who are increasingly inward looking and saying perhaps given that their countries are not getting the benefits that TNT has sacrificed to gain, that perhaps their government should take them up and leave the union?
Well, as I just mentioned, better informed people have done that, and we are not going to encourage anybody to leave the union. We are saying that the union has a lot of potential for good, and in the quest of this good, there are challenges along the way. And what the leaders of the region have to do is to lead by emphasizing what good there is and removing the impediments that are challenges.
Dr. Rowley, why is it taking so long for the revising of the economic and trade agreement with Cuba? This started in 2006.
I don't have that information, so I can't answer you at this point in time, except to say that Trinidad and Tobago has always been engaged with Cuba and will continue so to do. and we look forward with great anticipation of Cuba coming closer and closer to Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean.
Minister, on your responsibility in energy region, what would you like to see happen there?
Well, energy is an area where, regardless of what the state of the economy is or the size of the economy, the energy economy is central. Trinidad and Tobago, as a producer of energy and a trader of energy, will have to move, given what the international market has become and what the competition has become. Trinidad and Tobago will have to move towards considering greater investment in the region's energy security.